Okay, so we're just heading off from the school, and we've now got my friend John in the car. Say hi, John.
Hi.
So, John, what do you like about this car?
It's a Tesla.
No, John, no.
Tesla.
Very good. Cool car, huh?
Yeah, nice Tesla.
One of my friends made that mistake, and it's kind of annoying.
Lived it down yet.
Yeah.
So the Folsom supercharger is about 64 miles away, and that's roughly where we're going.
Cool. Lots of speed bumps through this area.
Even though it says to go left, we'll go right.
Because we're not a part of the system. So are you ever concerned that it's a little too bright in here, that there might be some distraction from the screen?
Nah, no problem. But I can turn it down.
It's handy. It looks a lot darker in here now.
So we're coming up to a red light, but we don't have to use the brake. Instead, we just recharge a little bit. Now we use the brake.
So there have been a lot of there's been a lot of talk about the three car fires and that accident at the Tesla factory just a few days ago. What do you have to say on that?
Well, accidents happen. Prefer them to not. But on the car fires, I still think the Tesla's the safest car you can get. I think most cars, if they were to hit a fairly solid piece of metal in the road, might have a problem. And I think it's pretty cool that the car actually tells you what it's going to be doing. Such as if it's going to shut down, it tells you to pull over. Fortunately, I haven't experienced that, so I haven't seen that kind of message.
So wait, is it gonna be like your car is about to burst into flames?
Maybe. Don't think so. I think the message said the car has a problem and needs service, and then another message came up and said that the car's shutting down. And please pull to the side of the road.
And the accident at the factory?
I don't know that much about it. It sounds like that was an accident that unfortunately can happen at pretty much any manufacturing plant.
Apparently one of my friends in cross country, her dad goes to Tesla a lot, and she said that one of the casting machines dropped one of the molds, and it hit, or somehow it got to three workers, and there was, one was released from the hospital, but there's been no word on the other two. That's pretty much what I've heard from her. So.
Yeah, I heard that it was one of the aluminum casting machines that had a
Malfunction.
Yeah, or something. Not sure exactly what the incident was.
And what do you hope for the future of Tesla?
I think the future of Tesla hopefully is going to be the future of the automobile industry as a whole. Does everything need to be batteries? I don't know that it does, but I think that we've done enough damage to this planet that it's kind of like the philosophy of camping and backpacking. You should pack out what you pack in. So if you take something into a wilderness area, you should then take it back out with you. And I think that's why the idea of renewable energy for me is the philosophy that we should use living our lives. I think fossil fuels, there's probably quite a bit of oil left, and we probably could continue to consume it for many, many, many years. But if we can find an alternative, such as solar and wind power and
Fusion.
I think that's going to take a long time to figure out. But yes, that would probably be the ultimate. Because technically that's what the sun uses to generate its energy anyway. So if we use solar power, it's like using fusion energy, just delivered to us from a bit further than down the block.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the guys at Tesla?
Good job. So we're passing through Davis, California, and we've got a range of 116 miles, rated range of 116 miles left. Our average energy consumption is 322, just dropped to 321 watts per mile. We've been cruising probably between 65 and 78-ish miles per hour. So we've got, how far do we have to go? Let's see. Let's call up the Folsom supercharger again. So it looks like we've got about 31 miles left to go. So we have plenty of range. So we arrived at Folsom now, and they're off to get ready and warm up for their track meet. And we're here, we now have a total of about 20,974 miles since we bought the car. We got it February 15th, and we're now at November 16th. So when we got up here, so the average energy over the last, I think it's 30 miles, is 328 watts per mile. And we now have a projected range, or a rated range of 72 miles remaining. I'm going to head down to the supercharger. So that was a quick trip to the supercharger. We're now at 20,976 miles, so it's just a few miles, and I'm gonna get out and plug the supercharger in. So we're here at the Folsom supercharger. There's no other Teslas here right now. I've been here when it's been all full up. I've actually had to wait once. So we grab the cable, push the button, it opens, plug it in, and get the blue light, goes to green. And it's going to start in a moment. The voltage is up to 345 right now, and the current is passing 150 volts, 200 volts, 200 almost 200 amps, 250 amps. The volts are up to 360, and we're charging at a rate now of about 230, 240, 250 miles per hour of charging. We started at about 69 miles of range remaining. We've added 2 miles right now. We're now up to a charging rate of 270 miles per hour of charging. Our current is at 270. Now it's 290, now it's 300. Now we're up at 320-ish amps, again at 370, 369 volts. And we're charging at a rate now of 300, almost 310 miles per hour of charging. And we'll let it go from here. Back online just a moment later. We're now charging at about 345 miles of range per hour of charging, and we're at just under 300 amps at 370 volts. It's 8:03. We've been charging for a few minutes. We've got 15 miles of range that we've added, 16 miles of range that we've added during this charging session. I'll be back in a moment. So we're charging at 350 miles of range per hour. We've put 22 miles on. The current is now bouncing around 280 amps. The voltage is at 370, 72, 73 volts. We're at 805. We've put about 24 miles of range on since we started charging. And we're at 805. And my son's race is at 9 o'clock, so I'm only going to charge for a little while longer before heading back, but I think we'll be able to put pretty much into the full range that I've set. I limit it to about 90% range, so you can set the charge limit, and I set it to the top of the daily charge. So the current's down to 269 to 270 amps. The voltage is at 373 volts. We're charging at about 349 miles of range per hour, and we're at 30 miles charged so far. Our range is up to 100 miles. And I'll be back in a little bit. So here at the Folsom supercharger, There are 4 charging slots. There are 2 superchargers, which are over here. And I've never officially been told, but as best as myself and a bunch of others can figure out, there's 2 superchargers, each going to 2 of the charging slots. And I think these are probably the older superchargers that are at 90 kilowatts, but again, not 100% certain. I presume that if you're at the 120 kilowatt superchargers, you would get 400 volts and 300 amps. But then again, I think our peak current that we saw in here was over 300 amps and we were at 370 volts, so not sure. Haven't really figured it all out. Let's see, where are we right now? So we're at 342 miles of range charging per hour. We've put 40 miles on. Our current is at 240 amps, so it is coming down. The volts have gone up just a little bit to 374 to 375, and we're at 808, and we've put 42 miles on. So we're back at about 8:13 in the morning, and the voltage is at 379, 378 volts. The current has dropped to about 200 amps. So I guess nominally, if I'm not going to sound like too much of an idiot, we're close to 400 volts, 380, and we're at 200 amps. So we must be putting in 80 kilowatts at the moment. Again, I've got the 85 kilowatt hour battery. We're charging at a rate of 360 miles of range per hour of charging, so it's been dropping down a bit. We put 68 miles on during this charge, and we're at 138 miles of range. Again, the current's still dropping, as we would expect. The voltage is actually going up a little bit, I guess headed potentially towards 400 volts. I think I've seen it at 400 volts when charging at the supercharger before. We're down to 194, 192 amps, and we'll be back in just a little bit. So we're back again. It's right at 8:30. The voltage is up to 390, 391 volts. The current is dropped down to 125, 122 amps. We're charging at 252 miles per hour of charging, which is a little bit more than 4 miles per minute. It's probably a little bit more than a mile every 15 seconds roughly. We've put on 123 miles of charge, and our range is up at 193. So we're pretty close to getting full. I could put a little bit more in, and I may do that, or I may just head back up to the Folsom High School where the cross-country meet is. So I noticed that indeed these are 90 kilowatt, at least that's what the decal says here. It's the 90 kilowatt supercharger up at Folsom. The 2 of the stations look like this, and 2 of the stations look like this. So I'm not sure if the second looking station is 90 kilowatts or 120 kilowatts, but I kind of suspect they're all 90 kilowatts. I'm going to unplug and take off. So right now we're just a minute or two later. The current is dropped to 115 amps. The voltage is up to 393 volts. We're charging at 246 miles per hour, so right about 4 miles every minute. And we're almost at 200 miles, and I'm going to head back up to the high school. So come back to the car plug, come back to the charger plug, push the button on top, you hear the click, it goes to light blue, pull it out, hang it up, close the charge port, and we're going to be off.
It is currently 3:22 p.m. and we are heading back from Folsom. We currently have 155 miles of range. We're going 75. And yeah, it's been a great day. Nice day in the Model S. It's been a long day. But good thing we had this nice electric clean car here to help us out along the way.
All days are good days in the Model S.
Especially when you know you're not burning any gas. How much has our energy level really changed? It's still spiked there.
So we're averaging right now 318. We're traveling about 72 miles per hour and averaging using about 320 watts per mile driven. It's going up a little bit, 322.
So John, what do you think of the drive up here and back so far? Nice and smooth?
Yes. Usually I get car sick, but not in this car.
That's a good thing. Really wouldn't want to get anything on this car. It's too beautiful. Are there any drives you want to make around this area that are kind of difficult right now to gauge because of the lack of superchargers?
Nope. Right now with the charging outlet at home and the superchargers in Folsom and Fremont, Gilroy, and
Crissy
there's a
Field.
few public chargers, yeah, like Crissy Field in San Francisco. A lot of times they're full when I get there though, but mostly it's pretty easy if you can get to the supercharger, which is in range of pretty much wherever we go.
Is there anything you dislike about this car?
Should have been green? Nah, I like this color, but I do like the green, and I like the blue. The sunshades could be a little bit
More helpful, yeah. They are a little. They're about what, 5 inches?
yeah, they're pretty short.
That could be a marketing thing.
Should have an extender. That might be possible.
But other than that, this is a pretty perfect car, huh?
It works pretty well. Pretty happy with it. This is more fun than I was first learning to drive in high school.
Probably a better car than you learned to drive in high school.
Yeah, I learned on a Peugeot 504 in a VW Squareback.
I have no idea what that is.
Both stick shift cars.
Explains it. Well, this has been a first inside look of the Model S, firsthand. This is the review you want to look at. It's an almost perfect car. Tesla, you do a great job with it. Keep making great cars like this. We have currently got John in the front. Okay, John, let yourself out.
Okay.
His company does that, and it's rather precision. How it, because of the
They use the basic cars.
because of the standards that Tesla has.
Yeah, they're pretty strict.
Yeah.